How's it going, guys? Welcome back. So I've been following this royal race row on Twitter, and it's really interesting. It tells you a lot about where we are with regards to racism in Britain, and so let's look into it. Royal race row charity boss says her authentic African attire led to attack from Palace Aid. I'm aware that the palace itself does not reflect us. There are pictures of people who don't look like us on the walls. Right, and so it's a leader of a charity for black women who are victims of domestic violence. And so when I first read this story, I was horrified. In my head, I was thinking that poor woman was probably excited to meet the Queen and the royal family, and somebody may have said something racist, or somebody may have just been clumsy with their words, which may have been perceived wrong. Either way, not okay, and it would have spoiled her time there. But the more I read, the more I thought like something feels a little off though, a little off. Now I'm aware that the royal family are racist. I've seen Prince Philip say racist things. We all have. We've all seen the elites like Boris Johnson and members of the Tory Party say racist things. Britain has a racism problem. Now, I completely believe Meghan Markle, and because I've seen the way that she's treated by the public, the way she's treated by the media, and it's horrifying. Like, Britain has a racism problem. But there's something about this story that just did not sit right whatsoever. So, essentially what happened was, she had this conversation with Prince William's godmother, but what she said was, she said that this is a 6-minute conversation, but she's broken down into highlights. So we'll read the highlights. Lady SH, where are you from? Me, Sister Space. SH, no, where do you come from? Me, we're based in Hackney. SH, no, what part of Africa are you from? Me, I don't know. They didn't leave any records. Well, you must know where you're from. I spent time in France. Where are you from? Here, UK. No, but what nationality are you? I am born here, and I'm British. No, but where do you really come from? Where do your people come from? My people, lady, what is this? Oh, I can see I'm going to have a challenge. Get you to say where you're from. When did you first come here? Lady, I'm a British national. My parents came here in the 50s. Oh, I know we'd get there in the end. You're Caribbean. No, lady, I'm of African heritage, Caribbean descent, and British nationality. Right? So, that's basically it broken down. Now, obviously, this is one side of the story, and people's memories generally, when you remember something, your brain edits it. Like, you're constantly editing memories. And so there's just one person's side of the story. And everybody's basically taking this one side of the story as gospel without hearing the other yet. And to me, it just seemed a tiny bit weird, right? Because first of all, this is highlights of a 6-minute conversation, right? But it reads like one actual story. Like, that's what I thought was weird. I was like, how can it be highlights when it's literally a conversation? Unless you just took that one highlight from the conversation, but she said highlights. So I thought that was a bit weird. And it just seemed a bit weird. And basically, I did say on Twitter that basically I'm going to not make judgment on who's right and who's wrong until somebody says the other side of what happened, you know? And obviously we haven't heard yet the other side of the story. But, oh my god, so many angry women on Twitter were like, if you're not supporting this person, then you're racist. And it's like, well, how is it racist to basically not decide until you've heard both sides of the story? Like, if I was willing to support one person over the other based on race, that's not treating people the same. Like, the lack of racism isn't supporting people because of the color of their skin. The lack of racism is treating everybody the same regardless of the color of their skin. That's literally the lack of racism. And but so many people are, especially white women, are so offended by the fact that some people are like, something feels a little off, so I'm just going to wait and see what happens. So later that day, some more tweets came to light, and the woman who works for Sister Space, she said, our charity supports black women to invest, certain words you can't see on YouTube, DV survivors. I can't stay silent about this. I admire Meghan for speaking out. According to clear definition, it seems Meghan is a survivor of DV from her in-laws. So, over a year ago, she accused Charles and Camilla of domestic violence. So she obviously doesn't have a high opinion of the royal family, but went there. But we already know that the royal family are racist because Prince Philip says racist things. But this does tip the scale, because yes, they're racist, but when you went there already despising them. So let's say there was a court of law. I mean, obviously, one side would say, well, we know Philip's racist. Meghan's treated horribly by the public, by the media, you know. And the opposite side would say, well, you despised them before you went there. And we're calling them racists. And we're making substantiated claims about DV, you know. So again, something does feel a little bit weird. A little bit weird. And then, of course, there was a tweet, Harry and Meghan won't be allowed on the balcony. In a completely different category to Andrew, he's linked to SC. Yeah. Harry married and had children with a black woman, and all exclusively white balcony. The only black people banned racism. Now, I have no idea why there is this whole controversy with Harry and Meghan. I can't see anything that they've done wrong. It probably is racism. But the thing is, just because one side is wrong, does it mean somebody else can't also be wrong too? You know, until we hear the other side of the story, we're not going to know, like, for certain what happened. That's the issue that I have with it. And it's just wild to me that people aren't realizing that basically, by hearing the word racism and charging in and defending like crazy and going mad on Twitter and stuff, white people doing that, virtue signaling doesn't mean that you're always right. It just means that you saw an opportunity to virtue signal. The lack of racism isn't virtue signaling. The lack of racism is having the ability to question everybody regardless of their race and treat them the same. That's the lack of racism. And that seems to be like what's missing on Twitter is people can't really do that. They're kind of led by their feelings rather than treating everybody the same. It's wild. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below, and